I always used to see videos that are like, don't move in with your friends, like it'll ruin your friendship. And I never believed it because
freshman year of college, I had a roommate that was literally from hell. And I'm finally ready to talk about it, so let's talk about it.
Story time of why I would absolutely never live with a roommate again.
Hey everyone, hey YouTube, I'm your host Gloria and welcome to another episode of TikTok Rant. Guys, the modern day housing crisis where rent is sky high, wages are stuck in the past, and only real solution is roommates. People are opting for roommates. Yeah, once upon a time, roommates were just something you had in college, but now even full-grown adults with good real job are splitting rent. Because let's be honest, nobody is gonna pay $3,000 a month for a shoe box alone. It's so damn expensive. But here is the thing, saving money comes at a cost. Sometimes that cost is your personal space, sometimes it's your sanity, and sometimes it's waking up to find your roommate cooking breakfast completely naked. Today we are going to be talking about the wide, painful, and often terrifying world of roommates. Let's talk about why people are doing it, why it sometimes goes horrible wrong, and why some of us, so many adults, might just be better off living in a tent or even living in their cars instead of having or opting for a roommate. So in case you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Also make sure to give this video a massive thumbs up. So guys, let's dive straight into this video.
Story time of why I would absolutely never live with a roommate again. This roommate experience was so bad that I would rather go into debt or move back in with my parents than to have another roommate. A little backstory, I was in my junior year of college. My younger sister and I went to the same college in LA. So we lived in the same apartment together, and my sister only went there for about 3 months, hated it, so then she dropped out and moved home. My parents, who were paying our rent at the time, obviously didn't want to keep paying for a 2-bedroom apartment. Conveniently, my sister's friend at the time was also looking for an apartment, so she just took over my sister's lease and moved into the other bedroom. Let's call her Jessica. And I had met Jessica out at the club or something, but I didn't know her that well, but she seemed nice enough. I also thought, since she's friends with my sister, she can't be that bad, right? So after a couple months of living with Jessica, we didn't really talk that much. She was a good roommate. She was super clean, which I appreciated, and we didn't really hang out or anything. Just very normal roommate vibes. We kind of went out with very similar people. We had mutual friends, but we just we didn't click. This was in 2020, so March rolls around and things in LA are starting to get really scary. Things were shutting down because of COVID. There was a lot of riots happening and I was just getting really scared. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, book me a one-way ticket home. So I went home the next morning. But Jessica decided to stay at our apartment the entire quarantine. And I only thought I was gonna be home for a couple weeks, but a couple weeks turned into 3 months. So now it's late May, early June, and we've been in quarantine for a while. And people are starting to go to these underground parties in LA. You weren't really supposed to have a party. It was illegal at the time, but people were doing it anyways. So one day I get a text from one of my friends and my friend was like, hey, I think Jessica is using your YSL bag unless she has the exact same one. I was like, no, Jessica doesn't even have a YSL bag. And what do you know? I left that one at the apartment. My friend sent me a photo and Jessica was literally wearing my designer bag and my clothes. One of my friends was kind of acquaintances with her. They would talk when they saw each other out. And Jessica told my friend that she was having one of her friends from home staying at our apartment for the past 2 months. And guess where that friend was sleeping? My bed. She had a friend living in my bedroom while I was paying rent. And I was really young back then, so I was kind of a little bit more scared to stand up for myself. And I still don't really like confrontation. It scares the shit out of me. So I didn't say anything. Then I noticed that she started hanging out with my best friend. And they weren't friends whenever I left before COVID. I was still at home, but I was seeing them posting Instagram stories together every single day, which was kind of strange, but whatever, they met at a party. A couple weeks later, my best friend, who was hanging out with Jessica, was having a birthday and she's begging me to come back to LA. She's things are opening up again, whatever. I flew back, but I made the decision to not confront Jessica because, now we're sharing a best friend. We live together. I just didn't feel like living in those conditions after confronting her. We go to my best friend's birthday and my best friend was not even speaking to me, was just hanging out with Jessica and was completely ignoring me. It was the most awkward thing. and we never talked again. Me and my best friend never talked again. To this day, I have no idea what happened, and that was really upsetting, but whatever, I got over it. I had other friends, like obviously didn't want to be friends with them anyways, but it was really awkward because my best friend would come over, or ex-best friend would come over to hang out with Jessica and completely ignore me. The guy that Jessica was like obsessed with and non-stop talked about was one of my friends, so I followed him on Instagram. And I noticed that one day he posted a photo, a selfie, in a bright blue convertible Bug. Guess who drove a bright blue convertible Bug? Me. That is not a common car. He was literally in my car. So I texted him and I'm like, hey, whose bright blue convertible Bug is in your Instagram post? And he goes, oh, that's your car. Jessica said that we could drive it to Huntington Beach. They drove it an hour away when I was gone at home during quarantine. They drove an hour away to Huntington Beach. She literally stole my car. I was so mad at that point when I found out. I'm literally getting red because it's making me mad. I stormed into her bedroom and I was like, literally, what is wrong with you? Like, you stole my car, you stole my best friend, you stole my clothes, you had someone living in my apartment. Like, I need to calm down. I'm getting mad. And we still had to like live together for a couple months after this. So it was extremely awkward. I felt so uncomfortable just going into my living room to watch TV. Like, my home was no longer my safe space. Oh, and to make matters worse, that guy that posted the Instagram photo, the guy she was obsessed with, was friends with me. So he came up to me one day at a party and he goes, so Jessica's been telling people that you have STDs. Which obviously wasn't true, but I never did anything to this girl. I don't know why she hated me, why she did that shit to me. It's insane, but needless to say, I will literally never, ever, ever, ever live with a roommate again. And sadly, I have another roommate horror story with a different girl, so let me know if you want a part 2.
Guys, let's face it, real, like real. Rent is really outrageous. It's like landlord just roll a dice and say, yeah, that feels like a fair price for a 300 square foot closet. Not even up to a room, not spacious at all. Let's take for instance in major cities like New York, Los Angeles and San Francisco. A decent 1-bedroom can cost up to 2,500 a month, and that just for a rent. When you add up utilities, Wi-Fi and groceries, you are basically selling your soul for a roof over your head. So what do people do? Most people get roommates, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, and sometimes 6 people cramp in a 3-bedroom. Yeah, up to 6 people may cram into a 3-bedroom just to cut out the cost of rent. Maybe at least they are paying maybe $900 instead of $3,000. It's somehow cheap. It's financial strategy, but like every great strategy, it comes with serious risk. Okay guys, here is the deal. Getting a roommate is like playing the worst game of roommate roulette. You might get fortunate and find someone cool, responsible and clean, or you get a filth goblin who leaves dirty dish in the sink until they form a new species. Sometimes also you might get a party type who love party, who think Tuesday nights are the perfect time for a full-blown rave, or maybe your personal favorite, the freeloader. You know, the one who never pays for anything but somehow always has new clothes and Starbucks. And if you are really unfortunate, you get a genuine psycho. More on that later. Anyway guys, what do you think? Do you think you ever get a roommate? Do you think it's better off with a roommate, or even living in a car instead of getting roommates? Or have you ever experienced this worst type of roommate? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your opinion and thoughts. What do you think? Getting a roommate to cut out costs, or living alone, maybe stranded in your car, your van, your tent? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Also I just want to get from you guys, have you experienced living with a roommate? What are your experience living in a roommate? Have you ever had this experience of living in a roommate? What are your experience? Please go down below the comment section and share your experience.
I always used to see videos that are like, don't move in with your friends, like it'll ruin your friendship. And I never believed it because I moved in with my closest friends and we were going good. Like literally no fights, no arguments about living together for a whole year. Until everybody decided that it would be smart for me to be the last person to find out that one of our friends and roommate hadn't been paying her rent in months because she was paying her parents' rent. Huh? Like, no shade, you could have moved out. If you knew you were going to be paying the rent. I mean, Ashay, why the fuck you ain't move out? Like, oh, that's noble, you're paying your parents' rent. Bitch, what about ours? Like, and even then I was still trying to be sympathetic because this was my real life friend. I go and talk to her about it. I don't care. I know I should care, but I don't. I would do it 100 times over. If I had $1 million tomorrow, I would give it all to my parents. And not to our other friend whose mom you owe thousands of dollars. You what? My main point in being mad at her, we're supposed to be friends. You couldn't tell me my rent was going up hundreds of dollars. I asked her that. Her response to me was, my rent is personal to me. We are paying the same rent. We're paying rent for the same motherfucking house. Like, I don't really get it. Like, I'm paying the same amount you're supposed to be paying, and I'm paying the same amount that the person whose name is on the lease is putting in as well. They aren't paying the whole fucking rent. I mean, they started paying half once they started paying her bum ass rent. But we pay the same amount, so how the fuck is that not my business? And then the craziest thing is, this bitch had money that she could have been sending to the person who's on the lease that was putting up rent for her. The person told her, send me any amount that you can. This bitch sent a whopping total of 0 in that, but was getting her braids done, getting her toes done, eating out every motherfucking day, but is trying to be a culinary chef. How the fuck that work, bitch? Everything just didn't line up. So, I guess moral of this motherfucking story is, fuck cancer women. Get the fuck away from me. If you are a cancer woman or man, I swear to God, I will, I'm about to change my motherfucking name to I hate cancers. Not just men and women.
Freshman year of college, I had a roommate that was literally from hell. And I'm finally ready to talk about it, so let's talk about it. Freshman year of college, I had a different roommate fall semester and spring semester. And that is because I canceled my dorming lease to move in with my psycho ex-boyfriend, and then he ended up kicking me out of his house. So I had nowhere to live, so I moved into this girl's apartment. We're gonna call her Linda. I've known Linda for a while. We met through Facebook and we became really, really close. We hit it off really well. And she had a roommate move out of her dorm and she had one of the nicer dorms and she offered me to come stay with her in her dorm for the rest of the semester. So after hopping dorm to dorm for like 2 weeks, I moved in with her and we had a blast. I literally loved her. Like, I thought we were going to be best friends forever. Also, keep in mind, her fall semester roommate had moved out because she was telling me how she thought she was crazy. Linda told me that she thought her roommate was crazy, but turns out it was Linda that was crazy. She told me she went through her roommate's like Apple Watch and her diary and just found out that she was like low-key a bitch or whatever, and just found out how her roommate ended up actually not liking her, and that's how she found out. And I was like, oh, you went through her stuff? Like, that's how you found out? But it never like registered in my mind. Like, that should have been my first red flag, that she literally went through her old roommates, all her personal belongings. So we get close really, really fast. It was so much fucking fun being in this friendship. Like, it felt so new. I finally felt like I found someone that like was really, really identical to me. But we had way too many things in common. Like, it was almost too good to be fucking true. Like, we were literally the same exact person, except we weren't. Every day started becoming a competition. She never complimented me. I always complimented her. She would ask to borrow my clothes and I would willingly like let her borrow my clothes, my hair stuff, everything, like everything. And if I asked her to borrow something, she'd be like, no. But I could never say no to her or she would have a tantrum. As the days go by, I start realizing she's just like not really nice to me. Like, she's so mean to me. So when I broke up with my ex-boyfriend and he had, I came like rushing to our dorm after everything happened. She like locked me out, wouldn't let me in. She told me she was at work and I told her what happened and she was like, okay, like what? Like, she kind of was like believing me, not believing me. And she didn't care about me and if I was okay. The first thing she kept asking me was, did my ex-boyfriend go through our text messages, because she had been cheating on her boyfriend at the time. And I was the only one that knew. And the night that she started cheating on her boyfriend, she also told me and the other girl that we were out with, we had gone to this club. She told us that for the first time, she's finally hanging around with girls that are like on her level. And she said that like girls in her high school were like nothing compared to her. And like, she was just like so much better than them. Like, and that's when I started to realize something was really off with her. And everyone that was friends with her in the past that told me not to be friends with her, people that have gone to high school that go to college with me, were telling me like, be careful of her. She's insane. And I had her back the entire time. Like, I literally fully supported her, defended her. I was her biggest hype man. I was such a good person to her. And every time someone would say something bad about her, I'd be like, no, like, she's so awesome. Like, you just don't know her the way I know her. That was my downfall. I never saw right through her. This bitch gave me so many red flags. Later in the spring semester, we get into a feud because I thought Jacob Elordi was hot and so did she, and she thought I was copying her. So she kicks me out of the dorm.
Take a sip of coffee. If you ended up moving with this girl that she met on Facebook, and then a month and a half after moving in with her, she meets this guy on Hinge. After meeting him on Hinge, their first date, they end up staying the night together at the house that y'all share together. for a whole month straight, and after a month straight you're like, hey, is there any way like you guys can go to his place at sometimes and like kind of rotate like a few times a week, because we are 2 girls living here and you don't feel comfortable always having a male figure in the space that you share. And he gets defensive and offensive, and she starts crying because he's trying to break up with her because of this whole shindig. Then you end up feeling bad and you just let it slide. He ends up living there with you for 6 months, making you feel uncomfortable, then threatening your life whenever you decide to confront them about like the bills and like how everything is spiking up, because he's literally there all day and all night and does not go to work, and he could potentially be a scammer, and you try to help her out and he's always like emotionally abusing her, but then anyways you end up having to move the house and cops end up having to be called. Okay guys, so let's be fair, having a roommate isn't all that bad. Let's break it down. There are pros and cons. For example, lower rent. That is the main reason why a lot of Gen Zs and millennials are getting roommates. Share bill, less stress in your wallet, possibly friendship. Like if you are fortunate enough, you might find a lifelong bestie. But then comes the cons. No personal space, forget about walking around your pajama all day, cleanliness war, the battle of who will clean or take out trash first. It never ends. Risk of horror story, because no one truly knows someone until they live with them. Yeah, so what's the takeaway here? Having roommates can save you tons of money, but it can also cost you your sanity. So if you are looking for one, do your research, ask questions, check reference, stalk their social media if necessary. Like very, very important. And if you ever survive a roommate horror story, drop it in the comments and let me know. Share your friends, let's know. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoy watching this video. I hope you guys enjoy my commentary. I hope you guys enjoy the conversation as a whole, and if you do, which I know definitely you guys enjoy watching up to this moment, please go ahead and give this day a massive thumbs up. Yeah, go ahead and click on that like button, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to share this video as well. Like, share this video, comment, do all the good stuff to push this video to the YouTube algorithm. And in case you are just seeing my face for the first time, or you are just coming across the channel for the first time, yes, this is what I do on my channel, Naturally GlowRia YouTube Channel. Feel free to join this beautiful growing family by clicking on that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification. In that way you get notified each time I do drop beautiful videos like this again. And one more thing guys, there's always exclusive content for members only, so go down below the description box to click on the link to join my membership. And until I come your way again on my next upload, for now, bye bye sis.